Hello and welcome to the 70th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined by our co-host, Jordan.
That's me.
That's him. Jordan, this is a weird setup this week.
It is a weird ass setup, dude. This is strange. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I'm happy. I don't think I'm happy.
I kind of rigged this together in the last 10 minutes, so...
I had the forethought to go, maybe we should record vertical, but beyond that, yeah, it's been just like a very last minute thing.
Yeah, but I'm obviously on the normal podcast set with the normal microphone, but Jordan is at his apartment. Why are we not all on the same couch this week?
Because I don't like you, and you kind of suck. But besides that, there is a pandemic still happening, and my colleague has fallen ill, and now I don't feel the greatest. I literally just have like a feeling in my throat, but I obviously told you, and we both agree that for safety's sake, we'll just stay apart, not just for you, but for your family. So
yeah, I think it'd just be
that's why we're remote.
Better safe than sorry kind of thing. No, and my voice.
Oh no, it's transmitted. It must be the 5G. That's why, right?
Because I have a 5G phone. The virus went over the airwaves.
I should be getting a Binance test after this, which I don't really think it's COVID, but like you said, safe than sorry is always the.
If I were you and I got COVID now twice, I would be pissed.
I'll be kind of pissed.
I would be livid. Right, I haven't had COVID once, but if I got it a second time, I'd be furious.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm fully vaccinated. Well, I don't have my third one, but.
Yeah, you scheduled that, right? So you're still waiting on that?
I haven't scheduled it. I'm just lazy.
I was gonna say you just talked about scheduling it. Oh man,
I gotta do it.
But before we go any further, should we maybe introduce the platforms?
Yeah.
In case it's a new listener.
Yeah.
I guess if you like the show, right? I guess there's people out there who might actually find this entertaining. I don't know who they are, but something's wrong with them if they are those people. But anyway, you could find us in audio forms on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and of course the handy dandy Spotify. Same thing we've always been on since like week number 2, maybe.
Yeah.
And as always, the RSS feed linked below. And we're always available on YouTube as well. This episode's also weird for another reason, Chris. I'm wearing XM4s. I can't hear a thing.
Oh. See, I'm just wearing my Audio-Technica headphones. Tried to get the the XM3s to work, but Bluetooth on Windows is not a beast I have yet to conquer.
Yeah, well, like we were just talking before the show, I hooked up my XM4s. I said, all right, Chris, I'm ready. And then my audio, actual like icon, the icon for audio just turned red, and it said no audio drivers. And I was like, wait, what?
I genuinely don't understand that. How is it right? Windows has existed since like 1993, and Bluetooth has existed for since 2000. How have they not figured out Bluetooth support on Windows? Especially when this operating system costs a lot of money.
I know, considering like you always say, Linux is free, it's open source, but Windows is like $150.
Linux is literally free, and it works 100% of the time. I don't think I've ever had Bluetooth issues on Linux.
Yeah.
Except for the one time I forgot to install Bluetooth drivers.
Which was on you, not on the actual operating system.
Exactly, as I was doing my Arch build, and I forgot I have to install everything, so I forgot to install the package that runs Bluetooth.
Could be worse, right? You forgot to physically install the audio drivers. Windows was like, hey, we lost them. We don't know where they are. So
they forgot.
They literally forgot, dude. I connected the XM4s, so the XM4 is supposed to be able to do 2 devices at once, so it's connected to my phone and my computer. It went device 1 connected, and then it went device 2 connected, and then Windows just died.
Damn.
Oh, it was great.
Damn, yeah. I don't know what it is on this tower where we usually do the podcast. The Bluetooth drivers on this are halfway decent. They'll the headphones will actually connect all the time. But on my desktop, like at my actual desk, it never works.
Makes
If
sense.
I boot into Windows, like if my computer restarts, I have to mess with the drivers for like 15 minutes to make them work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does your dedicated PC, like the one in your room, does it have a motherboard with Bluetooth or like a Bluetooth
I have
PCIe card?
No, I have a dongle.
Yeah, me too. That's what I have. I didn't think about that when I built the PC. I was just like, yeah, cool. And then I was like, oh shit, there's no Bluetooth. So
I have like
I bought a
three
dongle
or,
and it works great.
yeah, I have like 3 or 4 of those little Bluetooth dongles just hanging around.
They just work, dude. I don't know. It just works fine. Like there's no lag between my headphones and the PC. It's surprisingly good.
They usually work halfway decently, especially because Windows will like it'll sense that it's a new device and put drivers there. But the thing is, sometimes the drivers that it puts there just don't work.
Yep.
For some reason, on my dedicated like actual rig, it's tries to install Bluetooth transmitter drivers, like Bluetooth radio drivers,
Yeah, instead of transceivers, or
rather
even
than
just a receiver.
Bluetooth receiver drivers.
Well, wait, isn't it technically a transmitter though? Because it's an output. It's taking the audio from the PC and transmitting it to the headphones. So it has to be more of a transceiver, technically, right?
I guess.
Does both functions. So it's like it's installing one half of the equation. It's like,
But
all right,
it
we can
installs
send audio.
a
nothing
radio,
happens.
like it says Bluetooth radio,
Yeah.
which I don't know what a kind of Bluetooth radio I would have connected to my PC, but
Oh, you don't have like you don't just take the radio out of your car every night, put it on your desk, and plug it into your PC.
I have my Pioneer head unit that I wired into just down to a little USB-C connection, and I plug it into my PC. Into my USB-C connection that I don't think I even plugged in.
We were talking about that at work actually, about that head unit that we put into I think it was the Golf, right, where we like had to splice wires and shit behind it, and it was just a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that at work, and we were saying like we were joking about you and I working on cars, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, Chris is handy with cars," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, have you ever seen us install a radio?" And they were like, "Never mind, we take that back."
Yeah, well, I know how to do things properly. It's just that the way that it ends up going is usually not properly.
Yeah,
And usually
the
when I'm
Volkswagen's a special case.
Usually when I'm working on a car, I don't care enough. It's not a car I care enough about to make it look perfect.
Yeah, no. The in the case of the Volkswagen, that was also just German engineering. So
Well, yeah,
I
the
mean-
only reason I bought that car is because I wanted to learn to drive stick. So I
And you
knew
did
that car
exactly
was
that.
going to be beat up anyway.
yeah, yep. And you ended up doing exactly that too. You learned stick. So
Yeah,
I guess task accomplished. Maybe
task accomplished.
it's like task failed successfully.
And, you know, I cared a little bit more about the Canyon, but still, that was a cheap truck. I'm not going to have it professionally done. And
Yeah,
I have all the pieces that I need to make it fit in the dashboard. I'm not going to buy more pieces to make it look pretty because it sits in the dashboard and I'm fine with that.
yeah. The only time I would pay to have a radio installed, like you said, like professionally, would be if I got a new car and I was say going from like a normal head unit to a display, or a display to like one with Android Auto or some shit. Like if I was really upgrading and it was a new car I cared about, then yeah, I'd have it professionally installed, professional wiring, nice and sleek. But other than that, I'm just gonna pull it out myself and slap one in.
You know, it could be worse. There's a guy I started watching on YouTube. His name's Andrew Camerata. He's a menace with like his own things. He has his work truck. He has a like a 2002 or 2003 Ram 2500, like a Cummins with a diesel.
Yeah.
And it is the most beat up piece of shit truck I've seen in a while. And he had to install a new radio because there was an issue with his head unit where the faceplate kept falling off. So what he did to get this old radio out and make room for the new radio, which was a lot bigger, it was a double DIN unit, he just took a chainsaw to his dashboard
Just cut out a section of his dashboard.
An actual real chainsaw. And he cut out the portion of the dashboard and finished it off with an angle grinder, and then just shoved it in there. Shoved the radio in there after it was all wired, and he made his own 2 metal brackets that he put on the side of the radio and screwed right into the fucking right into the dashboard. So
Jesus, that's like that is menace level. Like there's Synapse Misfire level, then there's menace level.
That is a work truck moment, though, honestly, because it's his work truck. Yeah. He doesn't care.
Right. I mean, I can't necessarily blame him if he plans to ride that thing till it dies, and it is just a work truck.
And I think it's already like he uses it to plow and stuff. And I think when he bought it, it had like 210,000 miles or something.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's
if you're ever looking to kill an hour, I think the video is actually almost 2 hours. Watch the buying a new pickup truck video that he did, or the plow truck maintenance video that he did.
Oh God.
Both of that.
Almost 2 hours.
Both of those videos are crazy.
Man.
He's such a character.
You heard it here first. Sounds like it. I mean, if you're going to chainsaw your dash, you have to be something. That's funny. So, Chris, obviously we're kind of hot off the heels of one holiday and kind of moving into the next, but we talked about it briefly in person, which is such a weird dynamic we have because, like, you're still one of my closest friends, but, like, there's topics I want to save for the podcast. So,
yeah,
like,
that's weird.
Thanksgiving ended, and we were like, yeah, how was Thanksgiving? Yeah, good, bro. And that was it. We just left it. So, Chris,
that's how we talk to each other now. We don't talk to each other like for real
like
anymore.
Friends. That's what I'm saying. It's like the work has overtaken us.
At work, we talk to each other like coworkers, and then on the podcast we talk to each other like friends because we all have stories that we want to share that we don't want to share.
We want the genuine reaction.
Because we want real reactions.
So, how was your Thanksgiving, friend / coworker / co-host / host / pal, buddy?
Friend? Anything else?
Lover.
Wowee.
That took a turn. That's right. So that's what it is. We're coworkers at work, friends on the podcast, the lovers after dark. But seriously, though, how was your Thanksgiving? You have a good time?
It was pretty good. I ate turkey, and
as one would do. Mm-hmm.
I threw axes.
Oh, where'd you do that?
Well, so where we went was my dad, a friend of his, went to their house, and in their backyard they have a target set up to throw axes. So I spent a good portion of my time throwing axes.
Did you do any better than you did at Dave and Deuster's?
Actually, yeah, I did. I got pretty decent at it.
Yeah, no, dude, throwing axes is actually really fun.
Now that it was like an actual axe with real weight, I found it was a bit easier.
And a sharp blade.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's cool, though. That's pretty sick. You guys hung out there. Is it like a rural area, or are they city folk? I'm assuming it's rural, right?
Yeah, it's pretty... It's not that far from my house, so it's the same sort of area.
Same sort of vibe, though. Nice. That's pretty sick. We went to Lexi's mom's early Thanksgiving, and then I almost got into a car accident.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah, maybe I'll even throw the clip up if I can remember. Trying to redact information from it, but we'll see. But basically, we go to Lexi's mom. We had a really good time, grand old time, from like 10 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And I'm like, all right, cool. We got a crock pot full of minestrone soup in the back seat of my car. I'm driving. We have the leftovers. I'm like, sweet, good times. What a chef's kiss Thanksgiving, just perfect. Let's go to my mom's now. This will be a fun time.
Yeah.
We're driving, and then, as I've said to pretty much everyone I've told this story, I was driving a little on the offense, not quite on the defense. So I see a guy nudging out of the side street, and I'm like, nah, this just ain't happening, Chief. Like, I have right away. You can wait. And for that, I paid the ultimate price, and I slammed on my brakes from about 35 miles an hour in about 15 feet to 20 feet of distance. Found out, number one, my 2009 Chevy Cobalt LS does not have ABS brakes, and the wheels locked up like a motherfucker.
That is an American car moment.
That it is. Tell me how this car has a TPMS monitor where I can view the tire pressure on the display, but I don't have ABS brakes. Can you just explain that to me?
I don't know,
like,
dude. My Canyon had ABS. Actually, it didn't because the ABS broke.
But it still had it in Spirit, right?
But it had it in Spirit, which is also like a Chevy moment.
That is
the
like a Chevy
ABS
moment.
never works.
Yeah, makes sense. Leave it to my car, the '09 Cobalt, to be known for sticky calipers and not have ABS brakes. But anyway, yeah.
I think ABS has to
fuck?
be like one of the most important safety features you can have too.
The giraffe man at work told me, we were talking about ABS, and when he was in tech school, his teacher taught him ABS is not to make you stop sooner, it's to let you pit your target, because it doesn't lock your wheels, obviously. It lets you turn. So in this case, I wasn't able to pick a target, dude. I hit the brakes, I turned the wheel, and you can see in the video if I'm able to put it up. The front end of my car just kind of wiggles because it's just trying to turn, but I'm just sliding. So needless to say, I did not get into an accident. I didn't end up hitting him.
That's terrifying.
I was maybe 3 to 4 inches away, if that.
But what happened? What's the tragedy that actually happened?
The tragedy was after I started to calm down, and like I started to just come back down to earth, and I'm like, whew, all right. I almost hit that guy. Let's just go to my mom's. And then I hear Lexi go, the crock pot. And I'm like, wait, what?
No.
The crock pot. And I turn, and it's upside down in my back seat. And I'm like, oh, no, there was minestrone soup in there, dude. So bad, dude.
You know, there could have been a very similar incident that happened to me yesterday.
Oh, boy.
There could have been. There's an alternate timeline where it did happen. But basically,
where I was fine and it happened to you.
Yeah. But basically yesterday, every Friday at work, we order lunch. And the place we were ordering from is like a mile and a half away, so like I'm not gonna have it delivered. I'll save the dasher fees and I'll pick it up. So I ordered it all for pickup, the order's ready. And I'm driving, and in this order, there were just 4 of us ordering. There were 4 milkshakes, big ones.
Ooh, baby.
And if I put them on my seat, they would be at an angle, so they would like tip backwards, and I didn't like that. So I put them on my floor, and it was the most calculated, careful, smooth driving I've ever done. So if I slammed on my brakes slightly too hard, I would have had to hose out my car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they were barely in there, too. So.
That's funny. Well, there you go. But after we investigated the crock pot, I pulled over or whatever, and I'm like, oh, shit. The lid, it had flipped over. The lid had landed on top of Lexi's purse, and then the crock pot, like, fell back onto the lid upside down. But it was cockeyed, so it still had a shit ton that spilled out.
Oh, no.
But that wasn't even the worst part. So I'm like, oh, no. I flip the crock pot back up. We go to my mom's. We take out her purse, and we clean out her purse, clean out her keys, clean out everything, take out my rod.
So it was all in her purse, too?
Yeah, it went all in her purse,
all
over her shit. It went on my floor mat. I took out my floor mat, dumped it out, rinsed it down, and I wasn't too worried. And then I was just sitting there. I was about to put everything back together, and I'm like, where the hell is that platter of food that we had?
Oh, no.
And I look, and it fell off my back seat, flipped upside down, and slid underneath my driver's seat all the way. So, here I am, 7 o'clock or like 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day, on a side street, taking the front seat out of my car to clean out potatoes, gravy, turkey, corn, rice, fucking peas, like just pretty much everything you would have at Thanksgiving. Cleaning it out off of my
dinner
floor.
In there.
And it cleaned out great. But I spent like 40 minutes doing this, and I was just so mad. To the point where I went inside for Thanksgiving, and I just sat there for 5 minutes, and then I said, all right, bye, I'm leaving. I'm going home to my family. They were like, why are you leaving? And I was like, I'm just not in the mood. And then I went home and just played PS5 the whole time. I was just so mad. And Lexi was not happy either, so.
What'd you play afterwards?
Spidey, bro. Played Spidey.
I see. Good game to, relax.
Yeah, just kicking the shit out of people nonstop. Pretty much God mode.
I would have been furious if that
Well,
happened to me.
your comment was funny because if I do get to show the video, which I don't know if there's any revealing information in there that I can't show, but we'll find out. But if I did get to show you the video, Chris's biggest comment on it was when I slam on the brakes and I beep the horn, I don't even say anything. And Chris was like, how did you stay so calm and just exactly. like, bro, really? He was like, I would have got out and beat the guy.
Yeah, honestly, especially if I spilled a bunch of shit on in my car, right? I am like calm in those scenarios, like focused, as in like I can, move the car accordingly. Like I don't freeze up.
Yeah.
But
yep.
I am not calm in the sense that I get very angry when I see shit like that.
Yeah.
And then if I notice it spilled a bunch of stuff in my car, I would have made sure the guy stopped. Got the tire iron out of the back of my car and beat him to death. That's honestly grounds for homicide, because like I would have made him clean out the car for me, and then I would break his kneecaps.
Yeah, you get him on his hands and knees. He's cleaning out the car, dude. He's like, he has a maid's costume on, and he's like, all right, am I good, bro? I'm sorry. And you're like, yeah, you're good. And as he walks away, you just come from behind, sweep out his legs, and just shatter both kneecaps.
I perform a kneecap delete.
Patella delete, dude. Just straight up. He straight up is just left in an alleyway with his knees in like 4 different angles. You're like, all right, goodbye. Now you're even.
Would be furious.
Yeah. No, I was pretty mad. Quite upset. But honestly, it cleaned out fine. The only stain, quote unquote, is the back of, I think, the passenger seat has some minestrone stains, and the back seat has a couple stains. Couldn't care less because number one, they already looked like shit, and number two, I'm changing that interior in the spring anyway. So.
Did you got the rest of the interior pieces, didn't you?
About 85% of it. We left 15% of it behind because I think I told you the story of how the seatbelt bolt just wouldn't even cut.
Yeah.
He took an angle grinder to it and it just wouldn't cut, so we just left the little side panel, but the seats and everything, I have all that. So I got pretty much everything I need to do it. I'm just waiting for it not to be cold as balls out.
That's fair.
So, yeah. True that. But, yeah, dude, I thought when I slid, I was like, watch, I'll have like a fucking bald spot on my tire. Oh, man. Just a single little bald chunk.
Man.
It was an event, though. And a tragedy.
That is a tragedy. Especially because it's all your Thanksgiving leftovers.
That's the worst part. This wasn't like restaurant leftovers. Like, this wasn't McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
you can get McDonald's any time of the year.
Exactly. If I dropped I went to Chili's and I dropped my Chili's mini burgers on the ground. Okay, I could just go back to Chili's and get more Chili's mini burgers. Shout out to Alex, that's his favorite, the Chili's mini burgers.
Shout out to Alex, baby.
He gets super hype every time he gets them. It's weird. But I could always just go back to Chili's and get more Chili's mini burgers. But I can't go and make a whole Thanksgiving dinner again and get Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yeah, I can't just bring Thanksgiving food into fruition in the palm of my hand.
I can't just snap my fingers and make a Thanksgiving appear.
Yeah. That's the tragedy, right? That is the tragedy, is the fact that it was irreplaceable goods.
Irreplaceable for
I would have preferred if it was a
days.
child. Yeah, I would have preferred if it was a child. You can make a child in less time, 9 months.
Yeah, exactly. You just and you can make it so. You can snap your fingers and just be like, okay.
Is that how that works, Chris? I just look at let's say and I go, all right.
For someone like you, I imagine it'd take a matter of seconds.
a matter of mere seconds. It's like, whew. All right, man. We made a child. Oh yeah, that must have been a good time. Yeah, man, best 15 and a half seconds of my life. Anyway, sexual things aside, Thanksgiving was kind of a bust at the end. It had a good start though, but Black Friday ended up being a good time. I know you didn't particularly do Black Friday shopping. However, you did do shopping on Black Friday, because Black Friday ultimately is just a day, right? It's the Friday after Thanksgiving.
That's true.
So you did do some shopping.
Yeah, I bought my dad a gift, and that was it.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't buy him a gift, so.
I don't want to say what it is out loud, because he's right upstairs, and he might hear what I say.
Your dad's right upstairs. He's just like,
Damn
I've
it,
always
he's not
wanted
gonna
one of
tell
those.
me.
Yeah, right. He's like, God damn it! I thought I had this one in the bag. Your dad secretly put it on the notes. He's like, asked about Chris's dad's birthday gift or Christmas gift. I mean,
He went on my computer, logged in, and started punching things into the notes.
no idea how he knew what episodes, but he figured it out. Good for him. But I ended up buying a couple of things. The biggest thing is what I'm wearing currently, right now, the Sony WH-1000 XM4s.
Wow.
Because they were actually cheaper than the XM3s by $3 on Black Friday. So,
Yeah, see, I'm just a poor idiot with the XM3s that I got secondhand on eBay.
so, dude, I bought the XM4s, and I have to say, no word of a lie, I thought maybe it would be a honeymoon phase, but these are the nicest, best sounding, best performing pair of headphones I've ever owned.
See, here's the issue I have with my XM3s, and I want to see if this is an issue you have with your XM4s. I hate the build quality of them.
Really?
They're made of crap.
Think so? I think there's definitely room for maybe improvement given the obviously the price point. Off sale it's like $360.
Yeah.
But I haven't noticed any particular like weak spots, things that I was like, ooh, I don't like that.
Well,
so
that's not even necessarily what I mean. It's just like they're plastic. When you put them on, they creak. If you move them a certain way, they're all rattly. Yeah, it feels like if I drop them or bend them in a certain way, they'll just break.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I think the XM4s are pretty much built the same. I'll have to bring them next time we record in person so we can kind of compare them. Because, like, these don't necessarily creak when I move them, but again, they're also new, so maybe in a couple months they're going to start to show that plasticky, shitty feeling.
These are a bit older, so
that would make sense. But no, I do like them. I do have to say, like, I don't know, you said you like the touch controls on the XM3s, right? But you don't like them on the Galaxy Buds?
Yeah, I think they're decent because, I don't know if you've noticed ever, but, like, I'm a large person, and I have pretty large hands, and the contact patch for, like, the touch controls on the XM3s is a lot bigger and easier to use than the one on the Galaxy Buds. So I just have it turned off on the Galaxy Buds, but on the XM3s, I use them every so often. When they work.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They only work about 60% of the time.
I was going to say, I have the opposite experience in a way. And again, I'm also a much smaller lad than you. So
I would have rather just had a button, to be honest.
I would prefer, the only touch control I have on here that works, that I'd say I can rely on, besides the actual physical buttons for like custom and power and stuff, is swiping up and down for volume. Everything else I fucking hate on the touch controls on this headset. And it makes me like that one specific feature with the Surface headphones. I don't know if you've seen it, where the right cuff, instead of swiping up for volume, you turn a dial. That's built into the outer rim of the cuff, and I like that.
See, I would much rather always, I would much rather have touch controls. Like physical buttons or knobs.
Like tactile buttons, knobs,
dials.
turns, yeah.
I would much rather have that in any scenario.
I agree. I think, like, with the XM4s, I think the fact that there's no buttons, it obviously makes it look sleeker, but I do have to say, these are probably the worst touch controls I've ever used, even more so than the Galaxy Buds. The only two commands that work is, like I said, swiping up and down, and also the one thing I love about them, the covering the earmuff to turn on pass-through. That works perfectly. I love that.
That's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
That's, like, my favorite thing. It's so fast and awesome.
This is the thing I don't like about, like, modern or, like, newer, higher-end cars, is there's, like, just, oh, do you want to do anything that you would do normally? Okay, you have to open the touchscreen and take your eyes off the road for a significant amount of time.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's my biggest complaint about the Model S.
It's like why I hit...
is that the horn is a fucking capacitive button. The safety thing that will alert other drivers of an issue is a capacitive button that is about the size of a Galaxy Bud.
That's like... that's one of the major things I hate about Teslas in general. The Model S Plaid, I praised that for being comedic in how fast it is, like acceleration-wise. Which I still hold to that claim. It is ridiculously quick. But to put it in drive, to put it in go mode, you need to open the dumb tablet in the center and hit D.
Yep, or swipe up to the letter D. Yeah, dude, I hate it. It's so dumb.
And if the tablet stops working, there are physical buttons, but the physical buttons don't do anything unless there's a software issue on the tablet.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Uh-huh. I don't like it. I just
don't
like it.
Oh, and also the dumb, stupid steering wheel that he has.
The yoke, yep.
Which I actually saw a video of someone trying to use it and making a U-turn and almost fucking crashing because they can't turn like you would normally.
Oh, you mean when you have about a 3-inch contact patch on the right and a 3-inch contact patch on the left and then a little bit underneath? You can't physically just rotate the whole wheel in one motion like you could with like, a circular wheel.
They kind of streamlined, they kind of nailed the whole like thing when they made it wheel-shaped, for turning.
See, that doesn't make sense to me, though, Chris. They made the steering wheel wheel-shaped, and that's somehow better than making it non-wheel-shaped? How does that make sense?
Well, right, like, if you think about it, if you turn a little U-shaped thing, you have less turning ability because you have less to put your hands on. And you can't, any way you do it, you can't do hand over hand because that's not gonna work, and you can't do the fucking thing where you put your palm on 12 and you go woo 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 and spin around. You can't do that either.
You're a smart man, Chris. This is why they pay you the bid bots. I never thought of it that way. I never realized that the steering wheel is wheel shaped because it's meant to be a wheel.
Yeah, that's why they've been circles since the 1890s when they started making cars.
That makes perfect sense now. All makes perfect sense.
I
hate the yoke.
125 years later, for Elon Musk to be like, you know what?
Check
to
this
hell
out.
with this circle thing. I'm gonna make it half a square.
I know that wheel is like a freaking joke, dude.
It's foolish, and and I don't want people to get it twisted that like, oh, you just say that because you don't like electric vehicles. I like electric vehicles. I think they're kind of cool. I just think a lot of them look stupid, and a lot of them have this ridiculous form over function thing where they put in so much technology and shit to make it look cool and futuristic that they don't work like cars. That's why I think the F-150 Lightning is going to outsell everything, because it is literally an F-150, 1-to-1 an F-150, but batteries in the bottom.
Yeah. No, it is a function-based EV, like you said, instead of form-based EV.
It is literally a 1-to-1, same chassis, everything. They just modified it so they could put batteries in the bottom. And what you can do, the same thing you can do with the hybrid, you can just plug in stuff to the back, or you can backfeed power into your house. So you can power your house for up to a week if you're conservative with power.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I stepped away to get a water, but so you can actually use it as a power supply? I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, you can do that with the hybrid too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
that's pretty sick.
It works like for less time because the battery in the hybrid is smaller, but
than a dedicated EV, of course. Yep.
But it'll kick on the engine in that case. But if you have a fully charged F-150 Lightning, you can it'll just start backfeeding power into your house if you lose power.
It's pretty dope, actually.
You have to configure it to make it work, but
yeah, of course, that makes sense. I haven't really looked into hybrids in a long time since my mom owned one in like 2010 maybe. Are hybrids like actually good now? Like, can you actually go over 15 miles an hour without it switching to gas? Because that's kind of useless. That's how hers was.
Yeah, you get like you get anywhere from like 30 to 50 miles of pure electric range, usually.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go, usually your daily commute you can make electrically and not use any gas all week. You just plug it in when you get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I know, like, on the Jeep hybrid, and I think the F-150 hybrid too, when the battery reaches like 10% or something, it'll just kick on the engine and it'll be just like a gas car. So
Yeah. Yep. Does it do you know if it ever uses like an alternator to try to charge the battery while it's actually going?
I don't know.
Like a gas car would?
Maybe. I think that would make sense.
That would make sense.
But
So you
I
technically,
know,
like, theoretically never need to charge. You can always just rely on the gas to charge it.
there,
And next
there
time
are
you go to use it.
differences. Like a plug-in hybrid would be like, I'm assuming it wouldn't do that, or it'd have a bigger battery, so you would have to plug it in.
Yeah, because it's fucking huge.
Or I know there's hybrids where you don't have to plug it in, where I'm assuming that's how it works. They just feed it back with like an alternator or like regenerative braking or something.
Well, maybe it's just magic. You ever think of that?
Maybe.
That seems like the most logical thing, right? Because alternators are obviously a myth.
They have a little wizard in there. He waves a wand and he charges your battery.
Fucking Harry Potter, dude. He goes to fucking... What is that scene where they fly into the wall? Do you remember that? I never really watched it.
I've never seen any of the movies, and I've never read any of the books.
I forget what the fuck it's called, but it's like Room 6 or something like that, or... I don't know, but he basically crashes into a wall.
What an idiot. What a stupid idiot. Foolish idiot. Dumb idiot. British.
Platform 9 3/4, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that thing, yeah. You just straight up... That's all it is. You just ram it into a wall and it charges.
The thing with Harry Potter is, I hate how much influence it has had on people. There are grown-ass adults, people in their, like, 30s and 40s who reference Harry Potter all the time.
Yeah.
Read another book, please.
That is true. It's like the only book they've read. Like you said, they quote it and shit.
I've read several books, and I rarely quote stuff from books. I've read a lot of books that I like. I've read a lot of books that I dislike, but I very rarely do I quote things from books that I've read and liked.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't quote books ever. I don't really quote anything. I'm not a very quote-based person. Like, there's a lot of people that's really a huge part of their personality is like, let me just quote shit I've heard or seen or watched or whatever. I don't. I usually don't. The only thing I might quote is like Synapse Misfire, like all the time with our boss. I'll be like, yeah, comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. That's like it.
So you're saying the only person you quote regularly is literally yourself? Pretty
much. It's pretty much us, yeah. I quote us.
That is a narcissism moment.
Damn straight, baby. I've never done nicotine in my life. What do you mean? But what the hell was I going to say? I was thinking about books for some reason. I don't remember what now. But, our boss. That's what I was talking about. Are you seeing the new Spider-Man movie at all, Chris?
Am I? No.
So I have tickets for the 19th to go with Letsy, and our boss has requested that I don't spoil the movie for him. So what we're going to do, right, is I'm going to watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to transcribe every line, and then we are going to read it on the podcast and force him to listen to it.
So what you're going to do, actually, get like a little camcorder and record the whole movie. Like, just hold it on your lap. I'm doing a little motion on the camera right now. Hold it on your lap and film the whole movie. We'll tediously write down every single line of dialogue and every single action. Mm-hmm. And then read it out of like a notebook.
Yeah, and also I've been doing so many gestures on camera that it's crazy. I'm trying to pretend
I also
like you're here, but you're not, unfortunately.
I also have. That's just how I speak. So
yes, I'm very what would you say? Very stupid. So I just like wiggle around while speaking.
We do a little wiggling.
A little wiggling. But Chris, what the hell happened in the garage, man?
Oh. Yeah. So, like the shop that we normally pull tools and stuff out of at my house.
Yep.
I don't think the actual inside of it has appeared in a video, maybe very briefly, but the front of it has. Usually, if we do an IRL, we'll stand in front of that garage door. Behind that garage door is a damn mess.
Yes.
So
that is true.
What I spent the majority of last weekend doing, and what I'm going to continue doing when I'm done here, is we started cleaning out some of the stuff that's there. We actually got a decent amount out. It's just a matter of, like, we have to figure out where to put things. Because there's a lot of things and not a lot of space.
Yeah.
So, but, while that's being figured out, I've taken the toolboxes and I've been sorting through all the stuff that's in there, all the hand tools and whatnot. And
nice.
I spent a majority of last weekend doing that. And I didn't even finish one of the toolboxes.
Wow. Yeah,
I haven't even finished the American toolbox. I have the American toolbox and a metric one. I haven't even finished the American toolbox, and I haven't even started the metric one.
Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, there's a lot of tools in there, so.
When I tell you, there were probably hundreds of wrenches. There were probably, maybe not hundreds, there's probably somewhere north of 200 or 250 wrenches.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like 4 or 5 full sets in there that I was sorting through.
Jesus.
And that was the drawer that some mice some time ago were like, yo, this is it. This is the house right here.
This is Shangri-La, dude.
Yeah, all these wrenches, we can live on these. We can piss on these.
We can hump these, yeah.
So they were, it was made of mouse nest, basically.
Chris, they're using those wrenches to tighten their little nuts.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
They were sitting there, so what I ended up doing was, it took me longer because I would take all the rusty, really bad wrenches and put them in rust remover in a bucket, and, but I would take all the wrenches, and before I touched them, I was wearing gloves the whole time, so it really didn't matter, but before I touched them or did anything with them or threw them back so I could organize them, I would spray them off with disinfectant to get rid of all the mouse excrement. And
excrement and disease.
I dealt with that. I polished up a lot of them with a wire wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking pretty good. They're all organized. But there's still a lot of stuff left that I have to sort through. A lot of sockets. I have full sets of like 1/4-inch drive sockets, almost a full set of 3/8 drive sockets, and multiple sets of 1/2-inch drive sockets.
That's good.
All the way from like a 1/4-inch all the way up to like 1.5 inches. So
yeah, that's good.
And
that's always like our longest part is getting
what we
tools.
What we did find was a set of heavy-duty sockets that are 1-inch drive.
Holy shit.
That go up to, I think, like 2.5 or 3 inches or something.
God damn.
So what the hell would I need this for?
Your dad's like, I used that one time about 14 years ago.
That's kind of how he explained it to me. He's like, yeah, I think I bought that to use it once, or like I probably bought that to use it once, because he might not even remember. I forget exactly what he said, but it was something to that effect.
No, it'll be good, though, because all the projects we work on, that's usually the longest part, is getting tools that are like working for the purposes we need them for.
And when I'm done, they will be organized and labeled. I'm going to take a label maker out there. I'm going to clean off the spot, and I'm going to label the drawers.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And I cleaned out all the drawers. They were all kind of rusty, because there was mouse activity in a lot I cleaned them out,
corroding it,
and I sprayed them with. I bought rubberized undercoat for the frame of my truck, and I just never used it. So I sprayed it with spray paint, and then I put the rubberized undercoat on it. So
Nice. Should keep it nice and clean.
I hope so.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's good though. That is definitely good. Is your plan to do both garages? Like, there's the one garage, but then there's the shed. Are you guys plan on doing all of that at some point?
Oh, yeah, both the additions that are on there? Yeah. Because there is the toolbox that's in there that I want to go through, because I want that to kind of be like the one where I have like all the stuff that's in boxes. Because I have stuff that's in cases. Like, I have that impact socket set, and I have those big 1-inch drive sockets, and I have the that might be 3/4 inch drive. I don't remember, but whatever. And then, like, I have a big deep drawer in there for like my angle grinder, my impact, pneumatic tools, things like that. So I want to have that for that stuff. But is also a lot of mouse activity in that box. I opened it one day, and there was a dead mouse laying on top of its nest. And then I opened it after I had discovered that, to find that the mouse was gone.
I remember the look on your face when you opened it. Me and Alex were there. It was the look on your face. You're like, yeah, there's a dead mouse in the straw, and you opened it, and it was gone, and you just looked back at us.
And it wasn't there.
Oh, man.
So either it wasn't dead the first time, or something else got in there and took it.
Dude, the boogeyman walked in, opened the drawer, snatched the mouse, closed the drawer, and then left. And shut the door behind him.
I would think it was hilarious if someone, like a person, broke in and saw all these tools and stuff they could have taken, and all they took was a dead mouse out of the drawer.
Yeah.
They opened the drawer, they went, ew, yucky, and they took it and they threw it somewhere.
And then they ran away. Oh, man. That's funny. But, what about your classes, too? I noticed you said classes are almost over. When's your semester end?
So my final, like, my finals end, I think, on the 13th.
Very soon?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much done.
Nice. The reason I asked...
Which is good.
The reason I asked, Chris, is because guess what we finally got?
What?
Got a Witcher Season 2 release date.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. That's soon, isn't it?
December 17th. Which means that is coming out on a Friday, the same Friday, as a matter of fact, that the Spider-Man movie comes out. So that weekend, I need to somehow watch the Spider-Man movie, and we need to try to blow through The Witcher Season 2 so we can talk about it on the podcast at some point. But we should have like a 2-week gap after that, because we record that Saturday, technically. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for The Witcher Season 2, dude. Season 1 was so good.
Yeah, the way they did the story in Season 1 was a bit confusing, though.
Oh, 100%. I had to look up a timeline like you did.
I also did.
Yeah, I still am not even like totally on the same page as that first season, but hopefully Season 2 will be a little more linear.
Well, because there was points where, if I remember right, it started like at one point, and then started way earlier, and then both stories started progressing in opposite directions until they kind of met in the middle at the end.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It was like, it showed Geralt, and you don't know if it's like present or past, and then it goes to Ciri, and it's like definitely past, and like you said, they go completely different trajectories, and then finally come together, and you're like,
yeah, they
wait,
do.
so did they go at the same time, or like?
And they do the whole the Yennefer like origin story too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that too. The Yennefer origin story. I don't know. It's weird. But
it is strange. I do also hope that they did something a bit different with Season 2.
Well, with the way Season 2 ended, I do have a feeling it will be more linear. I'm sorry, the way Season 1 ended, because it's basically Geralt and Ciri meeting. So now it makes sense for it to go from that point now. And those two storylines that were progressing at weird paces are now combined. So I think there might be room for them to branch out where, like, okay, maybe the two get separated and the plot kind of diverges a little and then comes back. But I don't think there's any reason, per se, for it to do what it did in Season 1, because Season 1 was confusing as hell.
It was.
But it's still fucking awesome, though.
There was a lot of good stuff in that season, though.
Literally, dude, the Butcher of Blaviken scene is just ingrained in my memory. Good. It's just so good. I don't think I've ever seen better swordplay in a show.
And it put a lot of lore behind the name. Like, I understand that there was lore there in the books, but I never got around to reading the books. So
yeah, makes sense. But yeah, it did put a lot of lore, but exactly behind the name filled in that kind of blank. And it was also just such a good fight, dude. Like the whole thing from start to finish is so good. And like I said, I've never seen better swordplay in like a show or movie, in my opinion.
It's pretty damn good.
And just the fact that the whole fight goes on and you don't get lost, like there's not a ton of jump cuts and things like that, you don't really get lost. It was just so good. So fucking good.
They're like, how do I want to put this? It kind of puts into perspective, like, because that's one of the earlier episodes. It kind of puts into perspective, like, what a skilled, like, swordsman and a particularly skilled witcher that Geralt actually is.
Yeah.
But it also kind of displays, like, the lore of the world, because he was, like, kind of, what was it, like, entranced by the, was like a sorceress or some kind of witch lady.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, it was some sort of creature hoochie lady.
Maybe I'll either rewatch Season 1 or I'll just brush up on it because
it's probably what
it's
I'm gonna
been
do,
so damn long.
Up. Yeah, I'm probably gonna brush up on the timeline and the actual plot flow. There's probably a million YouTube videos out there to reference. So
yeah.
But I'm excited for Season 2. That's gonna be good.
I think that's gonna be interesting.
Can't wait.
Especially because it's a universe I haven't thought about in a long time.
Yeah. Yep. That is true. I haven't really thought about it in a long time either. So it will be good. But how's speaking of universes and games and things that we don't think about in a long time, but we talk about every fucking episode, how's the 100% Red Dead playthrough going?
Oh, it's the same as it was. I haven't touched it.
Really? What were you playing now? Weren't you playing something?
No, not really.
Something. You did a little bit of American Truck Simulator, right?
I played a lot of Car Mechanic Simulator.
Yeah, yep, that's right. There was that. You were doing that cheat code and stuff.
But I haven't really played. I haven't really played anything recently.
No, makes sense. It's been like a weird couple of weeks / months, especially with you being in school too. It's probably even worse.
I am gonna jump back into Red Dead though because I really like that universe and that world, and I want to go back and. I think the break I've taken has been sufficient, so I want to go back and start playing again.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I do have a status update on my Spider-Man 100% playthrough.
Okay.
I have completed it on the main story. I just have to do the DLC now, and then Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I did complete it. Oh, it got a little grindy at the end, though.
Well, that's the problem I kind of have with Red Dead, is because I'm just doing... I have to just do challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. There's the challenges, the hunting requests, and I have to go find the dream. I have to go find the dream catchers. I did the cigarette cards already.
Okay.
I have to go find the dream catchers. And then I think after that I have 2 more fish I have to catch. And I have to do the other 2 graves, the last 2 graves.
Nice. Yeah, I did all the Spider-Man main story stuff, because there's the campaign and then the 3 DLC. So the main campaign is 100%ed, beat the story, did all the side stuff. The last stuff I had to do was the crimes, which was like so tedious. I had about 30-something crimes left, so I was just swinging in one district, just swinging around, waiting for it to say, like, oh, we have a 10-4 in this area, and then go fucking stop a car or defuse a bomb or kit the shit out of people. And it wasn't, like, the actual crimes themselves that are tedious. Like, they're, rinse and repeat, but I could do that all day, just fighting the shit out of everyone, kicking ass. The problem is when you're swinging around for 2.5 minutes just for it to be like, oh, here's the next crime, and then you go do it, and then you're swinging around for another 2.5 minutes, and finally the next crime appears. So that was the shitty part of it, but I did bang it out. I did get it done. So
that's again the same thing with Red Dead with the hunting requests. I sat and looked at a rock, a specific rock. I have it marked on my map. A specific rock, and I did this for like an hour because more often than not, a cardinal will land on this rock. And the hunting request I'm on right now, you need a perfect cardinal. And you have to kill a cardinal with a small game arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks if they're flying. So they land on this rock and you hit it, but all the ones I've gotten have only been like poor or good. So
I got you. Yes, you're just waiting. You're waiting.
So I have to do that, and then I have to find like a rat carcass, I think, and a woodpecker for this hunting request. And then, because it's all small animals, and it's all small animals, and they all have to be taken out with small game arrows or varmint rifle, because they have to be perfect condition.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, I still have to do exotics too, which is going to be a nightmare.
Oof, yeah.
Which you practically just live in Lemoyne for 35 hours.
Oh, that sucks. Oh god.
You trudge through the swamp for essentially a full-time work week.
Just take it off work. Just quit your job and focus on that.
Listen, I'm going to be spending 40 hours doing this instead.
Pretty much, it pretty much is, more important, right? Getting the,
I think so. Than getting paid, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm going to go for the platinum in Spider-Man, because I only have 5 more trophies to get. The problem is 3 of them are hidden. I mean, yeah, it doesn't tell me how to get them, so
I mean, you probably just look it up.
I'm hoping. Well, the problem is there's so many hidden trophies, but I guess I could logically look up the list of hidden trophies and then what do I have? What am I missing?
Yeah.
Which is probably what I'm going to do if when I 100% these DLCs, it doesn't just happen. Like if I don't just get them throughout that, then I'll probably go back and try it. Because this is the closest I've ever been to a platinum. And the other 2 challenges that I do have information on, if I actually try to do them, I could do them in 5 minutes each. So it'd be nice to have a little platinum. We do a little platinum,
Yeah, I've never done all the trophies or achievements or anything in a game.
Yeah, neither have I. So it'd definitely be cool to have something at least on the old record, considering the amount of games I play. Right, so you'd think I'd have something by now. But Spider-Man's an easy one to platinum. It's just very, like, if you do it correctly, like all I did basically was I saved the main story for last, and I just blew through all the side challenges. So I did the Taskmaster challenges, I did the Black Cat stakeouts, I did everything except for the crimes. And then when I got to the main story, I was already like max level. I just swept the floor with everything.
Crazy over leveled for everything?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the fights in Spider-Man, they are very paced. So like, regardless of the abilities you have, there's not one specific ability that's like, okay, you can just sweep the floor. Like, for example, the big boss fights that are supposed to be hard, they're more scripted. They're, you're fighting Mr. Negative. There's only certain attacks that work on them, so your special abilities don't really help you there. It's just basically web him up, dodge his attacks, kick his ass, web him up, dodge. It's like the same thing. So really where I was overpowered was for the grunts. Like, you go into a level and they're like, oh shit, there's 50 guys. I would just throw a web bomb, walk opposite them and a wall, and then hit them with a concussion, and they'd all stick to the walls, and I'd take out 50 people at once, and it was done. That was like the OP part, which was fine. It just helped me blow through it. But it was fun though. It was good, and I plan on doing the DLCs. I started one yesterday, and then we go to Miles Morales, which, considering I played that game recently, I don't remember much about it. Like, I don't remember what it had for side content. I remember the main story, just not the side content too much. So, pretty excited for that, though.
Yeah.
I am pissed, though.
It'll be something I'll play when, if I get a PS5 ever.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Our boss just got a PS5, actually, so he was talking about Spider-Man.
got one?
Yeah, Yep, his wife ended up getting one. So she she ended up getting it at Walmart. So he was asking me about Spider-Man and like what edition to buy to get the remaster and Miles Morales and stuff like that. So
Yeah, can't you just buy it like directly on disc for PS5?
So you can buy it. So it's weird. It's kind of the worst example of like cross-gen ever. They do it a lot better now, but Spider-Man was one of the first ones, and it's shit because you have Spider-Man for PS4, and that's it. It's the PS4 version. Like I think you get a higher frame rate and higher resolution, but you don't get the ray tracing. You don't get the new Peter Parker. You don't get anything like that. But on Miles Morales, if you buy the PS5 edition, you have to get the Ultimate Edition, and then you get Spider-Man Remastered. So if you buy the PS5 Miles Morales edition and you don't have the Ultimate Edition, you can hit like L1 or something at the main menu and it will upgrade, and you pay like $20 to upgrade, and then you get the Spider-Man Remastered. It's worth it if you've never played it, but it's just super convoluted the way it's set up.
I see. So basically, okay, so you have PS4 Spider-Man, PS5 Miles Morales, Ultimate Edition. And that gives you PS5 Spider-Man.
Correct. You can't buy just PS5 Spider-Man.
That is stupid. Just print discs for it.
Or even better, just let me download it. I had to download it digitally anyway.
Or that too, yeah.
Yeah. It is a little weird, but like let's put it this way, Chris. It's so weird that and I would consider myself, somewhat tech savvy, right? I can operate a computer, I can figure things out. I had to look up a tutorial on how to get Spider-Man PS5 edition on the PS5.
Yeah, that's how I know something is convoluted, when it's like, oh, this is a tech or computer thing that I have to look up a tutorial on.
Yeah.
And it's honestly like, when it comes to like Windows, it's like usually the simplest things are the most difficult.
Right.
Because
pretty much.
Well, now, and you have to contend with, okay, the drivers never work properly, and there are two settings menus. One works and one kind of works. You don't have all the options in settings that you have in control panel. So control panel, you have to use control panel for specific things. But we're not going to let you search control panel in the Windows menu. Not going to happen. So... And there are certain settings things that open up control panel.
Yep, like
uninstalling just leave control panel. Just leave it there.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It's way easier. It's way more streamlined than settings somehow.
Even though it shouldn't be. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, essentially what they did is they put a new GUI on it to make it like more user friendly looking. But also you can do about a third of what you can do in control panel.
Yeah, and then the stuff you can't do, you usually, like you said, redirect you to control panel anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. I gotta say, Windows is starting to kind of piss me off. So.
Yeah,
it's incredibly annoying and
I
convoluted.
have an environment right now set up, like on my desktop I have a Linux environment set up that I've been using for the last couple weeks. That I just have set up, and I use that until I have a reason to use Windows, and then I'll use Windows, and then I'll go back to the Linux setup.
Made sense. I gotta say, Windows is just ain't sitting right with me. I just ain't happy about it anymore.
It's
kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's an obnoxious operating system to work with. It's you have to kind of it's very finicky. You have to like learn its quirks, and then there's some stuff that no matter how much you learn about it, no matter how much you do, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like my Bluetooth thing, it's just not gonna work unless I refresh or reinstall my copy of Windows.
Which is ridiculous to have to do.
So.
Yep. But, alright, yeah. I think that's all I got for this episode. We have a couple things to talk about next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it?
Okay, that's, I think that's it. That's the end of this one.
I think that is the end of this one. So this was a weird one. We had seemingly probably 2 vertical cameras, depending on how it works out. But ideally, 2 vertical cameras. We are not in person. So it's been a weird one, but hopefully it was still a good one. We'll see. But as always, if you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and Spotify. And as always, the RSS feed. Put it in whatever app you want. Also, Pocket Cast. I always forget to mention them now. I was mentioning them for a while. Now I forget. It's my podcast app of choice. It's pretty good. Pretty aight. Although if you want to listen on Windows, if for some reason you listen to podcasts on your computer, you do have to pay, which is weird. But anyway.
What?
Yeah, they have a Windows version of the app that's paid, but the phone app is free. It's super weird.
That's weird. That's stupid.
Super fucking weird. But who the fuck listens on Windows anyway? I mean, I guess if you're at a desk, right?
I guess I'll listen to podcasts that have a video portion on my desktop.
That made sense. Yeah, that made sense. I don't think Pocket Cast Player supports it anyway, so
the video usually works better. Or looks better. You get a better experience with video.
Makes sense. But yeah, drop us a comment down below on YouTube, or if you're on a podcast platform, email us, synapsemisfire@pm.me. There's also the Instagram and the TikTok that we totally have done a lot with, you know? But yeah, that's it. Comments, questions, concerns, death threats, send them over. I'm done.
Okay, goodbye. Jordan.
Goodbye.
Get out of your house.
It's cold out though, dude.
That's a good point.
It's kind of chilly, man. Don't get me to the curb like that.
My bad. You can stay inside.
My bad, bro. My bad, G. But, goodbye.